everyone, welcome here. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. So in today's video, I want to talk about sustainability, specifically some of the secrets or hidden truths about sustainability that don't get a lot of emphasis in the conversation. I feel like a lot of the conversation around sustainability focuses, as it should, on the products that we purchase as a consumer and the end result on the environment of those products. But in today's video, I want to focus a little bit more on some lessons that I've learned on my sustainability journey and some things that I've learned that really came as a surprise to me that I was not at all expecting. So with all that said, let's get started. The first sustainability secret that I learned is that there's actually no such thing as zero waste. I don't love using the term zero waste. I like to use it because it's common nomenclature. People understand what you mean when you say zero waste, but it's really not an accurate term. Even if we consume a product in a way that leaves us, the consumer, with no waste or zero waste in the end, you still have to consider the full supply chain and the manufacturing of the product. So to me, the term zero waste is really an ideal or a goal and not necessarily the practice of what you're doing in your day-to-day life. So take, for instance, something like bulk food shopping. Say you're going to go down to your local grocery store and buy some oats in bulk. You might bring a reusable container down to the store, fill it up with some oats, bring it home, and there's no waste in the end. However, those oats still needed to be harvested in some way and transported to the grocery store. A lot of the times, grocery stores will stock bulk items from things that probably come in a large plastic bag. So that's the first piece of waste along that supply chain, and you can kind of trace that all the way back to the farm where the oats were grown. So when you're considering a zero waste lifestyle, just know that it's not inherently actually zero waste. I prefer something more like sustainable or low waste. The second sustainability secret is that it's annoying sometimes. I feel like we're so used to measuring the quality of a product on how much easier it makes a task in our lives, rather than measuring the quality of a product on how easy it is on the earth. So sometimes when you swap out something to a more sustainable option, the task itself might become a little bit more tedious. So some examples of this would be my safety razor. I love my safety razor. It's a super sustainable option to disposable razors, but every time I use it, I have to completely take it apart, rinse it, and then dry it and put it back together and put it away. Not a big deal, but also not as easy as not having to do all of those things. Same thing with something like food containers. I love glass food containers, but they're breakable and they're heavy, so they're not as easy to carry around with you. I also have some silicone bags. Those are a great solution and a great alternative to plastic bags, but they're not going to protect things from getting squished, and it's really annoying to wash them out. So in a lot of cases, you do actually sacrifice some convenience for sustainability. And that can make things really difficult, especially if you're trying to get other family members or people who live in your house on board with some of the swaps that you've made. If they feel like it's making a task harder, it's going to be harder to convince them that we should be making this swap. That actually leads really nicely into my third sustainability secret, which is if you live with other people, it's going to seem near impossible to live a low waste life. And that's because you can only control what you consume and what you bring into your house. So particularly if you're living with people who maybe don't have the same level of commitment to low waste as you do, you might be more apt to feel like you're failing because you might be surrounded with a lot of things that don't feel low waste to you. But I think the best thing that we can do with this situation is just to lead by example, keep on your own path of low waste, and know that you can only control your own actions. The fourth sustainability secret is that sustainable means nothing, as does eco-friendly, all-natural, compostable. These are all unregulated words for the most part. There's no real legal definition to any of these words, so therefore there's no real regulation around it. So buying something that truly is eco-friendly or truly is sustainable takes a lot of work. But the good news here is that there are some other indicators that you can look for when you're trying to find a company or a product that's produced more sustainably. I like to look for brands that are certified B corporations. To receive this certification, companies are legally required to consider the impact that the production of their product has on the community, the workers, the end consumer, and the environment. So while B certified corporations might not be perfect, you definitely know you're buying from a brand that at least has an eye out for sustainability and is trying to do better and has been recognized for trying to do better. And I also find that the best and most sustainable companies are the ones that are most transparent, the ones that dedicate pages on their website to how they are dedicated to sustainability, how they are trying to do better. I feel like you can fish out those companies that are just using buzzwords in order to boost sales or to reach a new audience, because it's really unclear, especially on their website and in their social media, how they are actually dedicated to sustainability. My next secret to sustainability is that it can be a lot more work. It's not always just about purchasing what is convenient and available to you. Like I was talking about in the previous point, it can take a lot more research to find a product that aligns with your value system when you're trying to live a more intentional and sustainable life. I think a good example of this was when I was in the grocery store recently trying to buy some beans. Just some beans. Seems pretty straightforward, but I was standing there considering where the beans were grown, where were they manufactured, does the can have a BPA lining, are the beans organic, is it better to buy the dry beans in the plastic packaging or the cooked beans in the can? Do I know of anywhere where I could go and buy the beans in bulk instead? Would it be better for me to buy in bulk online or buy from my local grocery store? You see where I'm going with this. It can be a lot of work and it can take up a lot of brain space. So just know on your sustainability journey that it might not ever be easy to walk into a store and just buy something ever again. Which leads into my next sustainability secret, which is I think it changes your brain. I no longer think the same, which sounds like a really profound change, but for everything in my life, I'm looking through a new filter of sustainability. The way I think about the beans in the grocery store is now the way I think about everything in my life. And in many ways, I am grateful for this new filter that I've put onto my brain, but in some ways, it's exhausting. I feel like there's been a rotation in my brain away from comfort and convenience and towards impact. It's almost one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you think about sustainability, you can't not think about sustainability. It's gonna be interwoven into every single thing that you do. And there's certainly different levels of commitment, but once you've been on the path for a while, you realize you can't think about anything without thinking about sustainability. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's great for a lot of us to put ourselves second and the earth first, but not necessarily something I was anticipating experiencing when I started on my sustainability journey. So my next sustainability secret is sometimes it's gross. I found that I have a lot less disposable items in my house, so when it comes to cleaning up something gross, I usually have to then deal with the thing that I cleaned up the grossness with. Let me give you a for instance. Gypsy, my adorable dog, barfed in the corner recently, but I don't have anything like a disposable paper towel, so I had to clean it up with washable, reusable towels. So I had to pick up the vomit and then I had to wash the vomit towel. It would have been much easier, for sure, if I had paper towels. I would just pick up the grossness in the paper towel, throw the whole thing away, and pretend it never happened. But because I don't have paper towels, it just makes everything a little bit more gross, especially if you have dogs or children. The next secret on the list is that living a sustainable life can come with some guilt. As I was saying at the beginning of this video, it's really, really hard and next to impossible to live a truly zero waste life. But the farther you get down the path, the more guilt you start to feel when things that feel unsustainable to you end up in your possession. At least for me, I found that I really needed to be gentle and soft with myself in terms of forgiving when things that do not feel sustainable find their way into my life. I think a good example of this is, I'm gonna forget what store I was at recently, but I was at a store purchasing a thing, and before I had a chance to say no bag, they had put it into a plastic bag. And with the current pandemic and the current environment that we're living in, if I had said, I don't need that plastic bag, the clerk was gonna take it and throw it into the garbage. So my option was to either take the plastic bag, take it home and reuse it in some way, or to have it just be thrown immediately in the trash. So in that case, just being as gentle as you can with yourself and saying, okay, this plastic bag is now in my life. I didn't mean to get the plastic bag, but here we are. I'm gonna do the best I can with this bag, reuse it as many times as possible, give it the longest life I can, and try and recycle it if possible. The next sustainability secret is that really it's more about what you don't buy than what you do buy. I feel like a lot of the sustainability conversation, and I'm guilty of this too with the content that I make on this channel, is about how to buy more sustainably. Different swaps that you can make, things that you can purchase in a more sustainable way, and that's a great piece of the conversation. But I think a lot of us forget that the focus should be really on not purchasing. That is the most sustainable thing that we can do. So I really do think it is a shift in your own mindset and the questions that you ask yourself when you're going to purchase. So instead of saying, is there a more sustainable deodorant that I can purchase? First asking, do I need deodorant? And that might be a bad example. I bet the majority of you out there are probably like, absolutely, yes, I need deodorant, but you get the idea. Just kind of flipping the questions that you ask yourself to make sure you actually need to purchase an item at all before you consider a more sustainable option to purchase. And the last secret, I kind of hope is not a secret or a surprise to any of you at all. I hope you all know that it's about doing better and not being perfect. I feel like zero waste living can feel really intimidating in like this whole world that you don't know about when you're first getting started. But if everybody just tries a little bit or does a little bit better, that collective impact could be huge. All right, that's it for this week's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and comment down below. That helps my channel a lot. And in between my weekly Tuesday uploads here on YouTube, you can find me over on Instagram. It's just Rebecca_sisson. I hope to see you over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everyone. Next secret. Or if you're new here, my nose itches. Oh God, it itches so bad. That's so itchy. Do you like my tiny pony? Tiny pony. Do you want to say hello to YouTube? Wait, what? Oh, ow! Oh, you feel that knot?
Uh-huh. You mean that one?
Oh, ow! Oh. I have dark hair all over me. My computer's dying. Journey towards a more sustainable... Blah, 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 blah. Start it over, start again.